This season, honestly, Venezuela did not come to play. Venezuela did not come to play. I don't know if you guys have been seeing their videos, but if you are just going to be seeing some of the reactions that I'm going to put out here for you guys, then you need to watch. Then I will come back and wrap it up with all of my thoughts. Because as far as I'm concerned, anything involving the orange man, oh God, I don't know. The only people that can really be in the best position to explain to you guys who actually the orange man is is black Americans. But anyways, who am I to judge when Baba is doing good? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches. Can you just stay here and don't misbehave, right? Credit belongs to the original creator of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, I want you guys to watch and let me know your honest opinion. Please do not be biased. And let me know if this is the first time you're seeing this or you've actually been seeing this, because these people did not come to play. These people came to show us that, yes, Baba is doing the job for them. Let's go watch. I'll be back with commentaries.
The Trump administration should not have captured Nicolás Maduro and his wife. I mean, look at how devastated the Venezuelans are.
Régimen de Maduro se fue. Tío Donald Trump. Gracias, tío. Gracias, tío. ¡Viva Venezuela, coño! ¡Viva Venezuela, hermanos!
Estados Unidos, gracias, Donald Trump. Mi país es libre ya.
In case you're wondering why they're cheering, meanwhile Democrats are protesting, they're amongst the 7.7 million Venezuelans that fled Venezuela because of that man's dictatorship. I mean, if the people that fled that country are celebrating this as a victory, why are we trying to narrate how other people should feel? Because if you really want to know if Nicolás Maduro's capture was something major to Venezuela, stop asking people that were not oppressed by him. Ask the people that are celebrating this. Ask the individuals that fled for their lives. Ask the individuals that are stuck there because they didn't have the resources to move. Those are the individuals that we want to hear from.
Okay, as a Venezuelan American, I got some shit to say. My family, my parents, my sister, my extended family, all lost everything. Their work, their savings, their investments, gone. Wiped out by a narco-dictatorship that has held Venezuela in a death grip for over 25 years. And what happened to my family has happened to millions, and yes, millions. The Venezuelan exodus is the second largest displacement crisis on earth after Syria. This is not just a tragedy. It is one of the great humanitarian disasters of our time. But the suffering doesn't end there. This regime has jailed hundreds of political prisoners. Thousands have been murdered simply for speaking out. More than a third of the population has fled. 1/3. Not for better opportunities or for the American dream, but to survive, to live, because staying often means death. And while the world may see Venezuela as a collapsed state, what it is in reality is an occupied one. Our territory, our natural resources, and our institutions have been overrun by hostile foreign powers. Iranian militias, Chinese corporations, Russian intelligence, all exploiting our country with impunity. Venezuela is no longer just a local crisis. It is now a geopolitical threat that endangers the entire Western Hemisphere. It has become a launch pad for an authoritarian expansion in the Americas. And in the midst of all of this, one woman has dared to lead the charge for freedom. Maria Corina Machado. In 2024, against every odd, she led a peaceful democratic uprising that won the election. Her team smuggled physical voting receipts out of the country, hard proof of victory that the regime tried to bury. Her courage has lit a fire in the hearts of millions of Venezuelans desperate to believe that change is still possible. But now some have questioned her decision to dedicate her Nobel Prize to Donald Trump. Okay, I get that. But here's the truth. It was a brilliant strategic move in the global chessboard of politics. Maria Corina is no fool. She knows exactly the kind of man Trump is. She knows how much he campaigned for it, loudly and relentlessly, to win that very same prize. She knows how symbolic and personal that recognition is to him. And precisely because of that, she understood that this gesture might be the thing that keeps his attention focused on Venezuela at a time when US presence and pressure in the Caribbean is rising. She didn't dedicate that award to flatter him. She did it to protect and preserve the one kind of power that could help shift the course of history. Because for her, this isn't about pride. It's not about optics. It's about freedom. And let's be very clear. Maria Corina is not asking for the US to invade Venezuela. She's not campaigning for war. Venezuela is already invaded. It is held hostage by a narco state, overrun by foreign agents and enemies of democracy, Russians, Iranians, Chinese, all operating freely, weaponizing our land and resources to expand their influence across Latin America. What Maria Corina is calling for, what millions of Venezuelans are praying for, is the support of the only military on earth capable of countering that threat and helping to free our people. This is not imperialism. This is liberation. She's not playing partisan games. She's playing for Venezuela's life. Because this isn't theoretical. This isn't academic. This is life or death. So yes, it is time to honor her bravery, but more importantly, it is time for the world, especially the free world, to recognize what's at stake. The fight for Venezuela is a fight for freedom, for democracy, and for the stability of an entire continent. If we truly care about liberty, human dignity, and peace in the Americas, then Venezuela's fight must matter to all of us. Que viva Venezuela, que viva Maria Corina Machado.
Imagine if Donald Trump was kidnapped and America was invaded overnight. That's exactly what happened to Venezuela. And before I get into my thoughts on it, let me roll you a clip.
So you say during the war you can't have elections. So let me just say 3.5 years from now. So you mean if we happen to be in a war with somebody, no more elections? Oh, that's good.
He implies that we have to cancel the election if the U.S. is at war, and then he manufactures a war by blowing up fishermen in Colombia and claiming they Venezuelan drug dealers. Which brings me to 2 important points. One about the war on drugs and one about law and order. The first is that it's supposed to be the president and the party of law and order and keeping the Constitution and abide by the law. Did he get authority from the Congress to be able to invade and wage war Venezuela? No, he did not. Which brings me to the second point of how these folks full of shit. Now, you claiming that you're doing this with Venezuela because you're fighting the war on drugs, but you just pardoned the president of Honduras that was responsible for bringing in 400 tons of that Yola into America. 400 tons. Now you're trying to convince us in America you care about drugs in Venezuela? What going on? The same folks that will justify a black person having their life exterminated because they not conform to the law will allow this man to run rogue, where they be talking about being convicted of a whole bunch of felonies, or they be talking about waging an illegal war. They don't care about the law, except for when they look like me. And we always knew y'all was full of shit when y'all said all lives matter. We can sensationalize no American casualties when this invasion happened, but we don't talk about the casualties that happened on the Venezuelan side. We don't think about the citizens that was in proximity to these museums they blowing up and how we ain't seen there's no humanitarian people that break the law. What does this have to do with the shit countries Donald Trump is always talking about? Well, a lot of those individuals are coming to America for asylum because the American government, what Donald Trump did, they'll do shit like they did to Venezuela. Destabilize the country, making it where it's easy to take their resources. What happens is now the country is running rogue because the leadership has been taken away. You kidnap the leader. But confirmation bias allows us to say, this proves that these people are irrational and underdeveloped, and it justifies us doing better with their resources because look at them. They ain't even got no leadership. You took away their leadership. Now peep this. If your shit country elects a leader that they feel like can help their country get out of shit and America believes they need to be in that shit, they'll find a better leader that's more friendly with American interests. Remember that woman that gave Trump the Nobel Peace Prize? I'm gonna roll a clip from under the desk V. Listen to this.
Venezuela is technically a democratic country, and they held an election in 2024 just like we did for president. And according to published tally sheets, these people were the winners of the election. This is Gonzalez and Machado. You will recognize her as the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, who dedicated her prize to President Trump. After the election, Gonzalez had to seek asylum in Spain because Maduro's corrupt government issued a warrant for his arrest. And Machado also went into hiding. Now, some folks thought she was in Venezuela. However, there's a chance that she could have been hiding out in Bangor, Maine. Bangor, Maine? Like the United States? We don't know. But what we do know is when she went to Norway to accept the Nobel Peace Prize, the plane that she arrived in had come from Bangor, Maine. So it stands to reason that however she escaped from Venezuela, she at least stopped by Bangor, Maine for a little while. Machado has openly supported President Trump's strategy in Venezuela, mostly because it deeply benefits her. And I think we can expect that Donald Trump believes he'll be able to get Gonzalez and Machado back into Venezuela to be sworn in as the new president. That will not be as easy as he thinks. Maduro has a lot of loyalists, even now still in Venezuela. And, you know, historically, South American nations don't really like when the United States comes in, captures their leader, and helps usher in a presidential candidate that is more amenable to the United States' tastes.
So in conclusion, what you see is the same international laws that America will justifiably go invade a country because they feel like you broke them is the same humanitarian and international laws that America will break to justify its own interests. If anything, this entire situation should illustrate this. When folks say, if you don't like it here, you can leave, it proves to them that they don't understand international relations. It shows you that American imperialism, they power stretch past the East Coast and the West Coast. If they want something from your ass in Venezuela, they'll reach out and touch you. They don't like your president, they'll kidnap him. We are witnessing history, and us as Americans getting the short end of the stick. We can't get no health care. We got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. R.I.P. to Pop.
I swear you people are exhausting, because how historically ignorant and politically illiterate can you possibly be that even when America's attack on Venezuela is objectively and overtly an act of war, an illegal military invasion, a violation of international law, and armed violence in the removal of a sitting president, you still seek to justify the unjustifiable, especially when Donald Trump has told you blatantly that he invaded Venezuela for oil.
As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time.
None of your business. It's
They were
their
pumping
oil.
almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping.
None of your
And
business.
what could have taken place.
It's not your oil, it's
We're
Venezuelans.
going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
If you think for 1 second that American companies are going to swoop into Venezuela, spend billions of dollars to fix a problem that doesn't exist and make money for Venezuelans, then you are an unmitigated fool. If you think that this attack on Venezuela was to save Venezuelans from the evil dictator that Maduro is, then you are an unmitigated fool. Heck, if you believe that this was all about drug trafficking charges, then please pray tell. Why would the indictment of Maduro warrant the invasion of Venezuela when the conviction of the Honduras president of drug trafficking did not warrant the invasion of Honduras, but instead got him a freaking pardon? Use the brain cells God gave you. What Trump says next is what it's always been about.
We're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take.
Running the country, America is colonizing Venezuela through corporate dominance by aligning political power, economic leverage with market impact. Welcome to neo-colonization. This is all to access and control resource-rich countries like it did in Iraq.
Iraq had the fifth largest proven oil reserves globally with over 145 billion barrels. After the invasion, Western companies like ExxonMobil, BP, and Shell gained access to Iraq's oil fields under contracts that critics argue benefited foreign investors far more than Iraq.
And just last month, Trump designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction and accused Venezuela of producing it. But Venezuela doesn't produce fentanyl. This is a war crime. Send me Iraq script. Trump should be designated a war criminal.
The Pentagon Pizza Index is up 1,250%. The night we went into Venezuela, it was up 700%. So that means something big is about to happen. Israel has taken down their blockades. We went into Venezuela. We have their president. All that stuff is going on. And then by now you've seen where we seized the oil tankers. We're in stage 5 of an economic collapse, according to history. If you follow the patterns, we are 18 months out from it because we've been repeating what happened in 1929. The most unnerving thing I think I've seen was Under the Desk News posted a video. She had a conversation with someone. The conversation threw me so off balance that I forgot who it was with. But she asked them, are we in 1989 Panama or are we Germany? And they said yes. If you love history, you've probably felt unnerved for a while. In 1989, we captured the Panama president. We tried him for drug trafficking and some other stuff, and he stayed in jail for 30 years. This allowed us to control the Panama Canal. Germany invaded Poland. German concentration camps were not in Germany. They were in Poland. That is where they sent all the undesirables. This is probably where a lot of y'all are going to throw your hands up. But we've been deporting to Venezuela and a few other countries. There's a lot of people listening to their politicians when they need to be listening to the historians. History repeats itself. I think it's time we all pick up some history books.
So we're going to talk about some more victims of this Trump administration fascist attack on Venezuela. Nobody's talking about it. We had a trip planned to St. Croix. We had been planning for it for a year. When we landed at our layover in Charlotte, North Carolina, the morning of January 3rd, hours after the bombing, we found out, along with thousands of other people, that all of our flights were canceled because Trump's FAA closed off all the airspace. All canceled. We're talking so many islands. I didn't even know there were that many islands. People vacationing all over the place. So now everybody's vacations were ruined. Nobody could go back out, we were told, for another 4 to 5 days, which is half, maybe more than half your vacation. So now all of these vacationers, thousands of them, lost a shit ton of money because of Donald Trump. Because a lot of those Airbnbs, those vacation excursions, rental cars are non-refundable when you're canceling it the day of. So everybody's luggage comes off of all of these planes. We're talking thousands. And all these travelers, so many of them, waited upwards of 10 hours at the airport for their luggage because it was a free-for-all. The airport staff has never had to deal with something like this. How do you coordinate getting all this luggage, thousands of pieces of luggage off of every single airplane? into this building, into everybody's hands. Now, there's more than just us vacationers who lost a ton of money. Remember, this is only one airport, one layover. There are airports all across the country where the same exact thing happened. But do you want to know who else suffered economic devastation because of what the Trump administration did? The islands, all of them who depend on tourism, because there's no US tourists there this week. All of our vacations were canceled. All the restaurants and gift stores, all the little snorkeling gear rental places, everybody down there depends on tourism. Here's one that ought to chap all the Trump supporters whose vacations were also canceled. Pete Buttigieg had put in so many consumer protections with airlines. Lost luggage, like my sister and brother-in-law lost theirs. They were on this trip. Delays, cancellations, they were consumer protections so that we could get a percentage of that money back. And day one of Donald Trump as their administration was to cancel all those consumer protections. Trump supporters who lost their vacations, are you listening to me? That's how he's making America great again, protecting his big donors. Finally, this ought to chap everybody. If you're from Canada, if you're from Europe, and you were going to any one of those islands from any other country, you got to go. You got to fly into that airspace and you got to land. See, so what does that mean? Does Trump's administration feel that their military is so inept that they're going to crash into yet another airplane like they already have? And they're only protecting American flyers, but they don't give a shit if you're on a plane originating from another country? I mean, make that make sense. Anyway, no one's talking about any of this.
Look at this. Venezuelans everywhere are taking to the streets to party like it's 1999. Dancing in the streets, flags waving, thanking Trump on their social media posts. All because their dictator, who has starved them for decades, just got perp walked by Uncle Sam. Freedom, baby. But wait, here come the liberals screaming, act of war, U.S. imperialism, poor Maduro. Please, the people that Maduro oppressed are literally dancing in the streets. They're literally throwing block parties. They're hugging strangers in tears of happiness. And y'all are mad because oil? Sovereignty? Newsflash, the people fleeing starvation from their narco dictator aren't mourning him. They're popping champagne. While liberals are moaning and whining about gunboat diplomacy, actual Venezuelans are like, finally, liberty. Now, y'all cheered on socialists when they ruined the country, but now you're sad that it's fixed? Make it make sense. Trump said, you're fired, to a cartel boss, and the world got safer. Liberals melting down while Venezuelans dance? Classic. Freedom still wins, dictators fall, and the left? Still coping. Drop a comment if you're ready to see justice for the real victims here, the Venezuelan people. Like, share, comment, and let's make the libs cry harder. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.
Well, it's official. Trump has taken over the United States as a dictator. He said that he did not tell Congress because they would have committed treason. He said he couldn't risk them leaking the information, so he just ignored them. This is a coup. This is January 6th without the screaming. He's done it now. He has said Congress is irrelevant, and he will ignore them. He owns the DOJ. He owns the Supreme Court of the United States. This experiment is done. We have to stop him. He must be removed from office. I don't know how much clearer it has to be for MAGA and the Republicans inside of Congress. He's taken over our military. He has taken over our country in order to enrich himself. He is sending in his billionaire buddies to seize the oil in Venezuela. This is bad, and the press is just asking him questions like it's any other day. He has taken over the United States of America in every aspect of our government.
To every Venezuelan cheering right now, you do not want to be controlled by the United States. They will drain you of all your resources and then leave you in a worse state than you are right now.
She said on a full stomach, addressing a country where 90% of its population lives in poverty.
We're also under a dictatorship.
She said into her $1,000 iPhone and uploaded to the internet without the fear of political violence or retaliation.
United States citizens don't even want to be in this country anymore.
She said from within the country, most people flee too, seeking to escape political violence.
We're now under control of a fascist dictator going through the late stages of dementia.
She said to people that have been living under an actual dictatorship for the past 25 years. Do y'all not watch your videos before you upload them? Because this has to be the most out of touch one that I've seen when it comes to Venezuela. And y'all telling Venezuelans not to celebrate because what Trump did is going to make their life worse is really pissing me off, because one of the most sucker-ass things a person can do is try to take away someone's hope. And no, this is not me trying to get you to like Trump, okay? I actually advocate for your right to hate the guy if you want to. Number one, because that's protected under the First Amendment. But number two, because I personally believe that any allegiance or loyalty to any party or political figure is absolute cult behavior. But honestly, I don't know how to put this anymore for y'all to understand. For Venezuela, this is not political. This is personal. Your government didn't starve you to maintain control. Theirs did. Your government doesn't execute civilians who oppose them. Theirs does. You have the reassurance that if a majority of people agree with you as to who should be in the White House, that person will be in the White House. They don't. So stop with the political grandstanding. The glimmer of hope that was given to these people is not yours to take away.
It's day 3 of 2026, and our dear leader literally just admitted to kidnapping another sovereign country's president. The No New Wars president just kidnapped the leader and his wife of another sovereign nation that we are not at war with, that Congress has not approved. And you know how we found this out? Yeah, from a Truth Social post. Can someone on, the MAGA side let me know, how this is America first? Can you let me know how this is the No New Wars administration and president? Can you explain that to me like I'm literally 5 years old? And I'm also going to need you to explain to me how this was a quote-unquote legal order to the military by the president. Because I thought you guys said that the military wouldn't follow illegal orders and that DT would never ever do that. Yeah, this was illegal. Yeah, you can't just kidnap other people's presidents, bro. And I'm not laughing because this is funny, because this shit isn't funny. And honestly, it's on me at this point for having the absolute audacity to open my eyes 3 days into 2026. Oh my God.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for staying to this point. I'm happy that Venezuela are celebrating. Do not get me wrong. I'm so happy. I'm so excited for them. But why do I still have these feelings that the orange man do not literally do something, or he do not do things for people if he is actually not going to achieve something from it? Don't come for me, please. Check. For the record's sake, has there been anything that this man literally do without achieving something? Like I said, I'm happy that Venezuelans are celebrating. And another thing is, I wish all of this energy put into other countries, all of the efforts put into other countries, because I believe not up to long last year, he gave millions or billions to Argentina, supporting Israel. In fact, not different countries. I wish if all of this energy is being put into how Black people can actually get their reparation. You see why I feel like one thing about some of these white folks, especially people like Orange Man, is they try to put things so that people can actually applaud them where they can literally get from. But the ones they are supposed to literally sort out is a no-no for them. Like I said, do not get me wrong. I'm happy that Venezuelans are celebrating, because at the end of the day, I see most of their clips where they literally have been suffering, where 90% of their country are poor people, right? So seeing someone coming to rescue them is actually a glamorous thing, it's actually a good thing. But you're doing that for others, they're applauding you, but your own house is on fire. Your own house is on fire. Anyways, I just know the orange man as someone that always wants to be out there, someone that always wants to know that okay, this without me, this can actually not happen. But let me not say too much so that some people will not say I'm not happy because of the celebration. It is good to celebrate. It is good, especially when you see joy coming out from faces of people, right? I just wish I just wish that most of the things that Black Americans are literally going through, the orange man can still look into those areas. I just wish most of the things that has been promised to Black Americans is given to them as well too. I just wish if they can also picture and see that you are also someone that is limiting a lot of things, especially when it comes to Black American. I don't know. I don't want to say too much, right? Because I've seen comments where a lot of people dropped on my TikTok video saying that, oh, you are not in support, you don't want people to have freedom, blah, blah, blah. It's just like my own country here. Do you get what I'm trying to say? My country, Nigeria, where we literally have to pass through every single suffering for us to achieve one particular thing. And you see the presidents, the governors, the senators, and so on and so forth, throwing out, doing things, making their name known out there, while we, the citizens, are still in. Just let me know what you think. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And this is just my opinion, not to come here and ruffles on anyone's shoulders, okay? So do not get me wrong. But let me know what you think about all of this reaction you saw coming from Americans. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like this video, drop me a comment, and lastly, do not forget to share. And guess with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys, I love you guys. Mwah. Just let me know.